guys, so it's been a while that I've been able to go to a meeting. We've been going to meetings on Zoom actually, but it's just not the same experience as actually going to a meeting in person. But I'm kind of feeling that recovery kind of itch to share my story. So I thought, hey, well, you know what? Why not make use of this digital era and put a little something up on my wall? Maybe it would help somebody to relate to this. I just want to get my story out there, share it with you guys. Like I said, hopefully it could be useful to somebody, right? All right, so I've been in recovery now for 2 years, and I have some mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, my body and soul feel much better taken care of, and as I'm not quite through the steps yet, I'm looking forward to having some mental peace once I complete those. I guess I'll talk about what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. So before coming in for help dealing with my feelings, I was on a 15-year trajectory of increasing substance use, mostly alcohol and some cocaine at the end. I had my first drunk experience drinking my parents' alcohol from the cold storage room when I was 12. I was in grade 7, and this was the time when people at school were getting curious about substances and the fun times that they seemed to create. So by grade 8, I was a weekend party drinker with my friends, hanging out at beaches, inside basements, and going to dances, all that fun stuff. My drinking did not interfere with my academic life, nor my athletic pursuits. I was a fairly well-rounded person. I got good grades and was part of multiple sports teams and running teams, and enjoyed hanging out with my friends growing up. In high school, my weekend drinking continued, and I even tried smoking pot in grade 11 on the lunch hour at school. This was a one-time thing for me, as I did not like the feeling that it gave me. I felt paranoid and did not feel like myself. So my friend group consisted of about 8 girls, but in grade 12, we all went our separate ways to university, and we all developed our own separate interests, sports, drugs, academics, whatever. In grade 12, I was nervous about going to university, and I chose a program that I thought was very exciting, and I didn't really know where it was going to take me. My first year of university, I felt like I didn't fit in. I was looking for something to make me fit in. I tried working for the university because I thought that would help me to feel more connected to the place and to the people. It did help somewhat, and I did manage to maintain a great grade point average until the end of my second year of university. I declined the offer to work at the school in my third year of university, choosing instead to live in the university neighborhood in a house full of university guys who were studious and hardworking. In third year, I was still very academically inclined, and without a job, I had a bit more time to myself. Eventually, I made the decision to pick up a drink and see if I could get a job. Obviously, these two things do not typically go together, but I was feeling shy and uncomfortable with myself, like I was not being seen. The reality was that I was in a situation where people were too busy for each other, and I lost myself in the situation. I wanted so badly to finish my university degree, and so I did the fourth and final year, finishing with a grade point average that had fallen 1 whole point since the high grades of my first and second year. I was disappointed, and so endeavored to redo any of the courses that I didn't do so well in. I graduated with an acceptable grade point in an honors bilingual degree, but I didn't go to my graduation. I felt out of place. I felt like I deserved the degree, but socially was neither here nor there. I felt unseen again. After my graduation, I returned home but had conflict with my family. I was blaming my mother, father, sister, everyone related to me for how I was feeling. At this point, I felt like a failure, that I hadn't succeeded at all, and that I was somehow off course, that I had failed. My father and I had an explosive fight, and I moved back to the capital to find a job. A job I found, but did not find much else. I was working a job I didn't like and wondering why my life felt so empty. I'm from Northern Ontario, but never reconnected with my old friends after the high school split. In university, I was so consumed with schoolwork on the degree. I had made some new friends, but my heart was not entirely in those friendships either. I felt that I was just networking and not truly making friends. I had a feeling of mismatch between what I felt inside and what was happening on the outside. It was as though my heart was breaking and I didn't know what to do to fix it. I was also dating a guy younger than me who I also felt wasn't the right match with me. I decided to move back to the city my parents had moved to, Barrie, to start a degree in social work, hoping that this would finally be the key to feeling like myself again. So my 3 years in the social work program flew by. I found the coursework interesting and looked forward to an office or a hospital job as a counselor after graduation. My mother is a counselor as well, so I thought it would be nice to have that in common with her as well. Something to reinforce the bond we share as mother and daughter. So my final placement proved to be the final warning sign of my total disconnect from my feelings, as I accepted a placement in a customer service role at the National Institute for the Blind, and it did not go well. My drinking along the course of my BSW had escalated from weekend parties to drinking a bottle of wine every night. I had also started working a party job on the weekends that didn't allow me to reconnect with my purpose in social work as I had previously felt. Needless to say, I dropped out of my final placement and chose the party job instead because I was making lots of money and having an awesome time. The job had me put up in nice hotels, hanging with some beautiful people in the world. It even gave me the opportunity to travel to the west coast of Canada, live in a luxury condo with a car park right near the Pacific Ocean. I lived the lifestyle of the above average for 2 years until I lost my condo because I could not pay the rent. My drinking had interfered with my ability to stay on top of the bills, and I had accumulated quite a bit of debt. My friend who lives at the beach invited me to come and live with him, but because of my alcoholism, I couldn't follow simple rules and was a nightmare to be around, often fighting, crying, and generally being intoxicated most of the time. When my parents paid for my trip back to Ontario, they were concerned for my health and safety, and they wanted nothing but the best for me. It took 2 weeks of trying to hide my inability to stop drinking before I crashed and my mom was on the phone to get me to rehab. I went to a Thousand Islands treatment center outside of Ottawa and spent 45 days with other recovering alcoholics and addicts. Their stories are some I will never forget. I came out of rehab feeling much more confident with my strategy to tackle the challenge that life is. With sobriety as my centerpiece, everything else could be manageable. If I took it one day at a time, I was still frustrated with some people, places, and things of the past, like any alcoholic, but I knew I could manage these thoughts if I went through the steps. Now my life is routine. After going through, 2 years of recovery. And I also have outlets for my feelings. I'm aware that my life is a creation of my own design, and what I get out of life is a direct result of what I have put into it and how I'm managing it. If I'm unhappy, I have to ask myself what I can do to make it better. Within a year, I had attracted my soulmate, and we are building a life together. I also started an online business in the personal development and leadership coaching industries, where I'm able to make any income I dream possible. We work out and have goals that we monitor the progress on daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. We may live a simple life, but I would take simplicity over chaos any day of the week. For any newcomer, I would tell you to come and stay. Making a decision to change your life for the better is a secret to a life of happiness that you can't even imagine right now. Stay the course and miracles will unfold before your eyes. Thanks for listening, guys, and good night.